Hello everyone and welcome back to another screencast. This one is on geometry measure and we're looking at vectors. We're just going to cover the basics today, just so that we understand what a vector is. This will make absolutely no sense to you, I'm sure, but a vector is a quantity possessing both magnitude and direction. It's represented by an arrow and a value. So here goes some examples. We can see here that we've got an arrow. It's got a direction and it's got a value here. We've got another one with a direction and a value, which is B, and the last one which we've got a direction and we've got a value which is A minus B. Do not be confused about this. We'll go over all these in more detail as we go along, and it is really, really simple. So here, let's have a look at some examples. Basically, we've got a line, we've got A to B. We're going in this direction and the value of it is A. The way we write that as a vector is large A, large B with an arrow over the top, and we say that that equals little a, and we underline that little a just to make it really, really clear what it's worth. Let's look at another one. So here we go. We've got from C to D, because we're going in that direction, and it's worth B. So the way we write that is from C to D equals little b, underlined. And what about this one? If we're going to go, and if it's in this direction, then that's the way we can travel. So on this occasion, rather than E to F, we're going to say from F to E. From F to E with a little arrow over top, that equals C. Okay, so it really is as simple as that. Let's look at some of these ones now. So I would like you to give these ones a go. How do I get from X to Y? What's it worth from C to D and from B to A? Just remember that, from B to A, because we're going in the direction of the vector. So pause the video now, give it a go, and come back and see if you've got it right. Okay, so the first one, from X to Y, we write it like that with the little arrow over top, and that equals A. From C to D equals B, and from B to A equals C. Now, on these ones, I'm going to show you how we can go in the opposite direction. So before we were always going with the vector, and now we're going to go against the vector. So if we want to go from here to here, from Y to X, I could write that as Y to X with a little arrow over top. And rather than equaling A, it's going to equal minus A, because we're going in the opposite direction to it. From C to D, yeah, that's the way we went before, but this time we're going to go from D to C. So I'll do one more, and then I'll ask you to do the next one. So from D to C, we're going to go from D to C, and what's it going to be? It's going to be a minus B, because we're going against the vector. So the last one, what I'd like you to do is to go from A to B and write that down so it looks something like these, and give it a go. So pause the video now, give it a go, and come back when you think you've got it right. Here we go. We're going to go from A to B, and that's going to give us minus C. It's going to give us minus C. All right, so give these ones a little go. In fact, no, these are just explaining some lines are equal. So we can have lots of lines. A to B can equal A, C to D can equal A, E to F can equal A, and so can X to Y. So if they're going in the same direction, if they're the same length, they can all equal each other. So that all that is A to B equals C to D equals E to F equals X to Y, and they're all the same and they all equal A. Also, what we can find is we can find that when lines run parallel to each other, when vectors run parallel to each other, what we're going to have is we might have them, and they might be just different lengths of each other. So for this one, it might be double A, so that's 2A. We might have half of A, so that's half the length of A, isn't it? And on the last one, we might have 3 times the length of A. So we can, when they're running parallel, we often see different lengths of line, but all are versions of A. So I've got A, I've got double A, I've got half of A, and I've got 3 times A. So this is 3 times the length of this one. Okay, so with all that knowledge now that you've gained, I'd like you to give these 3 quiz questions a go. Pause the video, give them a go, come back and see if you're right. So hopefully you had enough time to do those. Here we go. Here goes our answers. On the first one, we're going from A to B. So very, very simply, from A to B equals little a. We're going from D to C. So we're going from D to C. So that's going to be a minus little b. And the last one, we're going from F to E. We're going in the direction of the vector. So therefore, we have little c. And what about these ones? Try these ones. Okay, so why are these lines multiples of each other? So give it a go, try and write an answer, come back and see if you got it right. Here we go. Very, very simply, because they all run parallel to each other and they're all different lengths. So we've got A, we've got double A, we've got 3 times A. Hopefully that makes sense to you. And that's it today. That's the end of the screencast. Hopefully you've done really well. Write a revision card or get some electronic versions off me. As always, it's been a pleasure helping you with your maths today. Hopefully you feel more confident, you understand what vectors are, and we can move on in our next lessons to make them more and more, because I think they're quite enjoyable, vectors. Until next time.